everyone, welcome back to Black Moon Coven. So today, since Samhain is right around the corner, literally this weekend, we are going to be talking all about broomsticks and the mythology behind the witch and the broomstick and how to do your own broom blessing, which will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned. So let's begin with some history. How did witches and brooms kind of collide and come together and get associated with each other so much? The origin of this myth is kind of murky at best. Brooms have been used since the ancient times. I mean, people had to clean, so they've always been around. However, the origin of the myth with the witch and the broom kind of got really strengthened during medieval times, but it was even there beforehand. The origin kind of plays along with the origin of flying ointment. So basically a concoction of herbs to basically make the witch hallucinate and be flying, tripping out, basically. So this concoction of herbs was used in a lot of magic and a lot of necromancy and spirit work and other astral related things. So basically it was used in witchcraft a lot, and even before then, even before medieval times. So the ointment and the specific herbs that were used and the application process kind of got associated with the broom and flying, because witches would use brooms to get to the Sabbath. Now, they used other things to get to the Sabbath as well. So it's not always a broom. Sometimes we see mortar and pestles being used, other people being used, other animals being used as vehicles to get to the Sabbath. It wasn't always a broom. However, around the 14th century, we see the broom being really popular with witches and flying ointment kind of together. Now, flying ointment is the concoction of herbs, basically for a psychedelic effect. So basically flying. And the application of those herbs is where the broom comes in. The application of herbs, basically they would rub it on sensitive parts of the body. So I don't have to go any further to explain. The broom handle is actually a perfect applicator for this oil into sensitive parts of the body. So basically that is how the broom kind of came to be. Now, the broom wasn't always used. There was stangs used, other people, the witch herself would rub the oil on herself. So it's kind of a little bit murky in the origins of where did the broom come about, but that's kind of where it came about, was with the origin of flying oil and its application. So that is where the broom kind of comes into play, and that is kind of where flying comes into play. So the very first confession of a basically witch flying to a Sabbath using a broom was in 1453 by actually a male priest named Edelin. And what happened was he went against the church's warnings about witches and got accused of being a witch, got confirmed of being a witch because he confessed under torture to actually flying a broom to the Sabbath, and then he was actually killed for it. So that is the first confession that kind of sparked this ring of confessions throughout the medieval period. And that is where it kind of strengthened this stigma, the stereotype of the witch basically riding a broom. So around the late 14th century, we see the broom being really implemented in illustrations, in books, in warnings, in die cuts, and illustrations, and basically paintings and everything else of the witch riding a broomstick. So it was really hammered in during the witch trials. Why the broom? Why any other object? It's because the broom was a common household object, so it was, everyone had one, and honestly it was the perfect application for the flying ointment. So the flying ointment and the myth of the flying broom kind of go together in that sense. It was kind of more of an application process of this ointment, so it kind of is like a back-to-back mythology with those two items. So over time, that image got really strengthened during the witch trials, and basically through confessions and stories and folklore and different ideals, this idea and this image of a witch riding through the sky on a broom got really strengthened and implemented into culture and society. Now, it was very much a thing before then, but during the medieval period, it was very much hammered in. So why do witches use brooms? Like, what do we use them for? Because we still use brooms, because why not? It's a big part of our history and our folklore, and the broom is a very, very symbolic object. In the more pagan sense, even before Christianity, the broom was seen as a symbol of fertility. So we have records of people using the broom in fertility rites, whether that is, landscape fertility, making sure their crops come back, they would jump over the broom, or during weddings, you'd have to jump over the broom to ensure fertility. So the broom is a symbol of the male and female union together. Besides that, the broom is great for cleansing, is great for banishment, is great for protection. There's a lot of different things associated with the broom, especially astral travel as well, given the huge mythology of flying ointments. So what do witches use brooms for today? We use them for a variety of different things. We use them for protection, for astral travel, for cleansing, for banishment. There are various different things that you can use a broom for, especially in your home. So before Samhain, it's a good idea to actually bless your broom, because Samhain is not just about honoring the dead and the ancestors and those who've passed before us. It's also about saying goodbye to the sun and then getting your home ready for the winter to come. So that means extra cleansing and extra protection rites to make sure that your home is ready for the darkness of winter. We witches use the broom for astral travel, using it with different flying ointments to kind of replicate that old practice of going to the Sabbath, basically during spirit work or astral travel. Now, there are many different flying ointments out there. However, I strongly encourage you to make your own, just because you know what goes into the flying ointments and you can make it non-toxic. A lot of the herbs that are used are essentially poisonous or create a really psychedelic effect. So if you're not used to that, I recommend doing a non-toxic flying oil, which we have done on this channel before. So go back into my videos and kind of watch that. So now we are going to kind of talk about a broom blessing and what does that mean and how do you do it. Now, I've already done mine yesterday, but I'm going to kind of walk you through how to do it, what's done, and what the hell does that mean. Basically, a broom blessing is consecrating the broom so it has a specific purpose. You are essentially cleansing your broom, consecrating it, making it sacred, and then giving it a purpose of banishing, negativity, illness, darkness, doom, anything of this nature. So what you are going to need for your broom blessing is, obviously, you're going to need a broom. You can make your own broom, or you can buy one, or you could just use the one you have at home, which is perfectly fine. All it has to do is sweep. It's basically the only rule for the broom. So if you have a functional broom at home, you can perform a blessing on it. Even if you're in the broom closet, you can perform this blessing without having any evidence left on the broom, and then you could use it to spiritually and physically clean your home. So what you're going to need, obviously, is your broom, but then you're going to need a candle, and then you're going to need incense, whatever incense you like for fumigation. I'm going to be using sage. If you rather not use sage, you could use rosemary, you could use different other things, you could use an incense stick, you could do whatever you like to do. Another note is that this is my own way of blessing an object. This is my own way of consecrating an object. You don't have to do it this way. You could do it any other way. You can substitute a lot of things that I do. You can do it exactly how I do. It's really up to you and what feels right. So you're going to need a broom, a candle, and then some type of fumigation purpose, like incense or a smudge stick or a sage stick, whatever you want to do. Then you're going to need water. You don't have to use moon water, but if you have it on hand, why not? So water, crystal, quartz crystal, bay leaf, and salt, you're going to put those together into a bowl to make a type of blessing water, to make a type of holy water. Now, if you have holy water, just use that instead. But basically, this is a cleansing type of water that you can use to cleanse your objects. Besides that, I use banishment oil, and that is the purpose of the broom. So we're going to be giving it a job to do, and then a marker to seal in specific sigils, and the incantation of the broom. Now, the incantation that I personally use, I got from a book years and years ago. It's very cliche and it's very almost kid-like, but it works and I've used it every single year since. So why break a good tradition? So here is the incantation. Bassoon, bassoon, witch's broom, sweep out darkness, sweep out doom. And that's it. It basically gives the broom a purpose to do. And that is what you want to do when you are consecrating an object. You are going to be cleansing it and then giving it a purpose. So we're going to lay down our broom and I'm going to really just walk you through everything so then you have a perfect tutorial to bless your brooms before Samhain. Okay, what you're going to want to do is spread out a cloth on the floor. Now this is optional, just like with everything else, but this is how I like to do things. So the very first thing is you want a candle. Now this candle is specifically anointed with blessing oil, so I use this candle anytime I am consecrating a new object and really just blessing it. So what you want to do is light your candle and then have your fumigation method ready, and also your water. Now this water has just table salt, cold water, a couple of bay leaves, and a quartz crystal, and you want to just stir it around with your hand with the intention of purifying your object. And then we have some banishment oil and then a marker, which I'm going to show you in a second. So the very first thing you want to do is you take your candle and you're going to go handle to bristle when cleansing your broom, because you want that stuff to go out. So you're going to go handle to bristle, and you're going to do this 3 times. Now it's cleansed with the candle. Next thing you're going to want to do is take your fumigation method, get it nice and smoky, and then do the same thing. From the handle to the bristle, handle to bristle, handle to bristles. Okay, and then the next thing is with the water. So you're going to grab some water with your fingertips and do the same thing. Handle to bristle, handle to bristle, and then handle to bristle again. So now your broom is cleansed and blessed. Now we have to give it a job to do, and this is where the fun comes in. You're going to grab your banishment oil, because specifically I use my broom for banishment purposes. So when I'm sweeping or I'm doing a spiritual cleansing, I like to physically clean at the same time and banish all negativity. So that is what I like to do. So you're going to take your banishment oil and just put some in your hands and go bristle to handle, and then just kind of glide your hands around the handle. Don't put too much oil because it'll never dry properly. So go bristles to the handle, and do it one more time, bristles to the handle. Now you want to do it this way when you are giving it a purpose, so it absorbs that energy. So it's absorbing that banishment properties. So now it is all ready for banishment. Now this next portion is really just going to spread the oil just a little bit around the handle, because you want to make sure that it is evenly coated. So the last part is I like to put some banishment sigils on my broom, and then we are going to do the incantation. So the banishment sigil that I like to use is kind of personal, and you can make your own, but it's basically a counterclockwise spiral. So we're just going to draw our little banishment sigil onto the broom. Okay. And you could do anything at this point. You don't even have to, especially if you're in the broom closet. You don't want to be drawing weird symbols on your broom, and that's totally fine. You could just do the banishment oil and it'll serve its purpose. You don't even have to do the banishment oil. You could put your hands right on your broom and just state what you want it to do. So the next part, we're going to just say our incantation. So, bassoon, bassoon, witch's broom, sweep away darkness, sweep away doom. And I seal it with an X. Next. Bassoon, bassoon, witch's broom, sweep away darkness, sweep away doom. Bassoon, bassoon, witch's broom, sweep away darkness, sweep away doom. And then I like to draw my banishment sigil on it once more. So again, this whole process, it's completely up to you. You can make it your very own. And like I said before, you can use the broom you have at home. You don't have to go out and buy a special broom for this type of sacred object. If you do want to buy a type of broom, I got this one off of Amazon for like 20 bucks because I really like the corn brooms and just the old symbology of that. So that is it. That is our broom blessing. So now our broom is ready for its job and its purpose for Samhain, which in the morning I'm going to be doing some heavy cleansings and then to proceed on to my night of worshiping the dead and the ancestors. Follow me on all of my social media down below. If you have any subscriber requests for videos, please put them down in the comments. And yeah, until next time, have a lovely, lovely rest of your day.